What is your opinion of the welfare system?
That it's terrible and broken and doesn't work.
Then how would you change the welfare system if it's broken?
Not let people have any welfare.
Why?
Because it's just totally abused. The people who need it don't get it, and those who are on it don't need it, usually.
So how would you fix that, though? You just would eliminate welfare? Or?
Yeah, I would only have a work training program, an education program.
Okay. Do you think people who go on welfare are lazy?
Yes.
For the most part, yes.
The most part, yeah. Or addicted to drugs or alcohol.
What do you think are the causes of poverty?
Ask him if he was using drugs when he was on welfare.
The causes of poverty are...
Right, let me ask that again. What do you think the causes of poverty are?
The causes of poverty are usually lack of motivation, lack of education, and then, unfortunately, too often, drug addiction and alcoholism and illegitimate pregnancy. Okay. Having children out of wedlock. It's a vicious cycle.
Are any of those causes possibly results as well? So, like you said, it's a cycle, so...
Are any of them what?
Possibly results as well, so that...
I don't understand.
So the lack of education may cause poverty, but then that, because if they're in poverty, they also don't get the education.
Right.
So, alright.
And I think the biggest cause is just the illegitimate births and not having, the fathers around to help these poor young mothers, and they can't ever get a leg up.
Okay. What would you suggest as ways to end poverty if you don't support welfare?
The only ways to end it are encouraging girls not to have babies out of wedlock, through abstinence programs, obviously, because all the government wants to do is abortion programs, and killing babies doesn't help with poverty. And then encouraging men, penalizing men who father children out of wedlock, actually, give them, either garnish their wages or put them in jail.
But if they're fathering them, it's usually not the problem if they're fathering the children.
They're fathering the children and not taking care of them. So if they don't marry the woman, they should be put in jail. Or they should pay a hefty fine, because that would end that whole cycle. Everyone blames the mothers, and it's the fathers who get them pregnant and then just walk out and leave their children in poverty. And also do work training programs to get them entry-level jobs in good places where they can move up, and then also, education programs where they can learn, valuable skills.
So you would suggest a more private-based approach to fighting poverty than a public-based approach?
Absolutely, because the public program has absolutely failed in every level. Everything the government does fail, so only approach would be through private, and that's the only way that works right now, is the private charities that educate women, the private abstinence programs, the private soup kitchens that give food to the needy, and the private, workfare programs that get people, into the workforce. Government's programs in all these aspects fail miserably, and the only schools that work are private schools as well, and in bad areas, the charter schools, magnet schools, or the Catholic schools are the only ones that have accountability standards, and those are the only ones that work. The public schools, unfortunately, like the public welfare programs, just fail miserably.
So, do you think poverty will ever end?
No.
No? Any reasons why, or do you think it's just...
Because people are people, and you're going to be lazy and take the easy way out, and unless people stop doing those things and stop having babies when they're teenagers and stop drinking and doing drugs, and work hard to get a good education and a good job, poverty won't end.
All right, thank you.
The welfare system is that it's abused. It's used too much by people who actually don't need it, or it's really not used the way that it was meant for.
Okay. What do you think could be changed about welfare?
That there's a certain time limit for people to be on it. There's something like that they'd have to do some sort of, I'm sure they do some check and balance, but I'm sure there's way too many people who to abuse it. Maybe to a better check and balance system.
Okay. What do you think are the causes of poverty?
Well, I think unfortunately education, lack of education, probably is a big one. Being born into a situation, unfortunately, probably is one of them too. But education, the lack of it.
So do you think any of these causes, like education, are possibly results of poverty as well? So
Yes.
so basically like a never-ending cycle
It's
of
a never
poverty.
yeah, absolutely.
So and you believe that people are born into poverty? You said. So,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
What do you think are some ways that you could end poverty? Or just different suggestions?
And poverty. Well, I think starting early to get kids involved in better education,
Okay.
and to just get them out of their environment to see that there's other things available to them than what they just see every day.
How do you think poverty influences the American way of life? Like, is it a prominent, like, does it affect all facets, or is it kind of not as big? It's not a major problem?
I don't know that it, I guess it does, from us having to pay taxes and do other things to try to make up for people who are unable to. I guess it does affect most people.
Do you think poverty will ever end?
No.
Never. No matter what. What if the welfare system is used the way that you said it should be used?
I think it's all human. I do think it's human will.
Okay.
I think it's the will of the person to either take themselves out and start something new, and obviously having education there is going to make a big difference.
Alright. Alright, that's it. Thanks.